Let me tell you a quick story. I got a phone call. A guy says, I don't want to tell you my name, but I live in a little town in Oregon where there are no Jews. I was born Jewish. I'm a retired psychiatrist. But for the last 36 years, I've been practicing Christianity. And now that I'm getting older, I would like to feel connected to my people, to the Jewish people. But how do I do that here in this town where there are no Jews? So of course I said, get a pair of tefillin. You'll put them on every morning. You'll feel connected. He says this weirdest thing. He says, oh, I can't do that. Every time I try to do something Jewish, I've had a bad experience. I didn't ask him to explain, but it is a little mysterious, right? Every time he tried to do something Jewish, he's had a bad experience. I can imagine what that is. He tried keeping kosher, he almost choked on it. He tried putting on tefillin, almost strangled himself with, I don't know. So I said, you know, nobody is Jewish because it's been a good experience. If you do what God needs from a Jew, you feel like a Jew. If you do what God needs from a non-Jew, you feel like a non-Jew. He says, God needs? I never heard that before. So I'm getting really impatient because this guy's sounding a little strange. So I said, look, God is infinite, correct? He says, yeah. I said, so he's infinite in all ways? Yeah. He's infinitely strong? Yeah. He's infinitely wise? Yes. He's infinitely patient? Yes. So I said, so he must also be infinitely vulnerable. He's infinite. So the guy laughs. He says, wait a minute, God is vulnerable? God is almighty. So he's a retired psychiatrist. So I said, doctor, are you suggesting that vulnerability is a weakness? He got totally flustered. Because the whole insight of psychology is that vulnerability comes from strength. He hangs up the phone. A couple of days later, he calls back. He says, hi, I don't want to give you my name, but I'm the guy from Oregon. Where do I get tefillin? I said, why all of a sudden? I figured I'd give him a hard time. So, why all of a sudden? He says, well, I cannot accept the Christian message. I said, after 36 years? He says, my professional background does not allow me to accept. I said, after 36 years? What happened? He says, let me explain it. In our profession, we know that if a husband says to his wife, I love you very much, more than anything in the world. Oh, you're not interested? Well, your loss. Doesn't cost me anything, your loss. Which means he's not vulnerable. So in our profession, he says, we know that his claim that he loves her is not true. He does not love her. It's simple manipulation. Because there cannot be love without vulnerability. Which is another way of saying, you can't love me if you don't need me. Isn't that true? Because what do you love that you don't need? A pet. A human being can't be a pet. So what is it exactly that we're responding to? God's love? No. His vulnerability. He really needs us. Hard to refuse, and it's hard to resist. If he needs me, it's a whole new story. Everything changes. I thought I needed him, and I resented it, because I hate feeling dependent. But he needs me? I'm necessary in his plan? I complete him because just being him is not enough for him? This is compelling. This sounds like freedom to me. Why do we have to resort to, you better behave yourself or you're going to go to hell? Really? Is that what it's all about? If it's so meaningless to him and he's not vulnerable and it doesn't hurt him if I eat pork, why is he going to send me to hell? Just to be nasty? Then I don't want to hear from him. He created me. He created problems in the world. He's testing me. He's tempting me. And if I fail, he'll punish me. I don't want to hear anything about this God. But if he makes himself vulnerable, and he really needs me, and what I do makes a difference to him, I'm listening. Tell me more. So this 12-year-old girl in Israel got it into her head that God was angry at her, and she's depressed. Father calls me and says, can you talk to her? He puts her on the phone. I don't know them. I said to this 12-year-old girl, God is angry at you? She says, yeah. I said, I'm so jealous. She says, what? She had gone to rabbis, to doctors, to psychiatrists. Nothing helped. I said, I'm so jealous. Because you're 12 years old and you can get God angry? When did you become so important? Our problem disappeared. We've got things really distorted. If God is angry at you, don't you hear the compliment? The creator of the universe is angry at you? You mean he noticed you? He noticed what you did? What you did bothers him? How did you get to be so important? So whether God loves you or hates you or is angry at you, don't you hear his vulnerability? How can I get him angry if he's not vulnerable? How can anything I do bother him if he is not vulnerable? And if he's not vulnerable, what kind of relationship can we possibly have? And that's why it gets reduced down to behave yourself or else. That's it. And that's called a relationship. So I'm going to write a new book. I have the title so far. The title of the new book is My God is More Vulnerable Than Your God. So there. That's the truth. God is infinitely greater than we are. We are a little vulnerable. He is infinitely vulnerable. And that makes him infinitely lovable. Without that, no wonder people are not interested in religion. Makes sense, yeah? So when you sit down to eat the matzah, and it's really tasteless, perfect. It's designed to be tasteless. It's designed for you not to need it. It's purely for him. Nobody needs to eat a matzah. Unless you put a little salt and garlic, but you don't do that. You just eat a tasteless matzah. Why? It works for him. So at least on Pesach, I'll do whatever works for him. I'll even drink 4 cups of that horrible wine. And then I'm free, because I ate what I don't like and I drank what I hate. See how free I am? Nothing can stop me now. I'll even swallow that bitter stuff. Anyway, no further questions? Yes.
What's the alternative to I love you? I mean, how do you express that? You are who I love?
Yes. Yeah. I don't need love when I get married. Because if I need love, I'm not ready to get married. I still need my mommy. If you really need love, go home to your mother. You're ready to get married because you don't need love. You got it, or you're never going to get it, but this doesn't make a difference. You're done with that. You don't need love from your spouse. You need your spouse's love. Very different. Like you don't need love from your child. That's really disturbed. You need love from a kid. You need therapy. You don't need love from your children, but you desperately want your children's love. Why? Because they're your children. Why do you need love from your spouse? Didn't get enough from your mother? You need love from your spouse because this is my spouse. Like Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. Tevye asks Golda, remember? No? Nobody remembers? Tevye asks his wife, do you love me? And she sings the song about laundry and dishes and cooking. What she's telling him, am I giving you my love? Is that what you're asking? I gave myself to you. For 25 years, I am yours. And all you think about is love? Grow up. That's the real. It's not, I want love from you. I want your love, not anybody else's, because nobody else is mine. From you, your love is important. In fact, because I am married to you, every hair on your head is precious to me. Not because I'm into hair, but because it's your hair. So what should you say? Not I love you. You. You I love. Because of who you are, not because love is important. Your love. Otherwise, I don't need love. Same thing with God. I want God's love, not because I want to be loved, but because I want Him. There's a mitzvah to love your fellow Jew. See how important love is? No. See how important Jews are? Jews are so important that you ought to love them. You don't love them, they're still important. So love them tomorrow. The brother you hate is more important than the dog you love. Is that a shock? Love doesn't make importance. Love is the feeling for those things that are important. But we worship love. The idol of America is love. It's Christian. But we're not Christians. So instead of saying, I love God, you say, God I love. You are my God. That's why I'm into you. Not because I need something from you. Not even love. So yeah, instead of saying I love you, we should reprint all the greeting cards. All the Hallmark cards. Instead of I love you, you I love. Because you are important. Because you I need, so you I love. You're not my pet or my entertainment. Vulnerability is freedom. Have a great Yontif. Enjoy your Seder. Offer some new insights when you're sitting there with your family. And let's get free. Because once you're free, you can change the world. And that's what it's all for. To make the world godly. Thanks for listening. I've got a book. And now, a word from our sponsor. We got a new book. It's about a month old, called Joy of Intimacy. And it basically presents this whole idea in the context of marriage, which of course you can apply to God also. So if you want to pick up a book on your way out, you'll have something to read in your spare time. Thanks again.